I've got my Saturday grind on today. We're going to talk about that on this segment of the Get Geezer. Well, today is Saturday, August 2nd, 2025. If this is your first time checking out the Get Geezer, hey, thanks for coming by. If you're a returning visitor to Get Geezer, thanks also for coming by. Hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. So I'm going to tell you, I've already recorded some content for this segment of the Get Geezer, and what I'm doing is really continuing on with the conversation, but then I'm going to have to go back to that conversation piece. So to get you up to speed, I've not had a lot of Saturday opportunities throughout 2025, and for that matter 2024, and so it's going back a while. You got to go back to 2023, where it was commonplace for delivery folk like myself and others, at least in my market, in which we looked to Saturday and Sunday for earning opportunities. This happens to be a brokered opportunity, and I would say that it's a rare brokered opportunity for me on a Saturday. But the way it came about was, I admittedly, and I'm telling on myself, I had plans. I had other plans, and I literally was at the gas station with the F-150 and was about to put money in the tank when I happened to check my emails. And in my email was one from a broker whom I've done a lot of business with. And what happened was, they asked me if there was a driver available to do a run. I said yes, and so here I am. I'm actually leaving from the pickup location, and I'm dropping off at Charlotte Airport. The total distance is, let's estimate it up to 80 miles, although on the rate confirmation sheet it says 77 miles. But it's 80 miles. And it's for some decent money. I'll put it like this, and I've kind of hinted at this the way some other people have done this. This is an opportunity that some folk would have done if the distance was 270 fucking miles, which is what happened earlier this week on another opportunity that I got outbidded on. Initially, the person agreed to like 350 miles, 300, it was 270 miles for the same money, and I'm doing it for a fraction of the distance. There are people who would brag about this if it were 200 miles, or for that matter, 150 miles or 175 miles. But I think somewhere in that 200 to 300 mile range is where people would really be crowing about just even earning this type of money. Now, yes, I'm in the Geezer 16. That may help. But you've got a lot of dumb, thirsty motherfuckers who are in box trucks who do shit for some stupid money. And when I talk about stupid money, I'm talking about stupid, dumb, thirsty ass money, in which it don't make any sense. So then, what's then the big deal about Saturday? I guess for me, typically, I'm done by early Saturday morning. If I've done something, I'm done by early Saturday morning, which I've done some load board based opportunity. And I'm usually free after 10 o'clock in the day. And what had happened was, I had a load board based opportunity that I did, and I was back at the Geezer compound by like 9:30 this morning. And then I had plans to leave to go where I was going about 11 o'clock, but I really didn't leave the Geezer compound until closer to 12. And the reason being, I was tired. I was tired. I struggled to get up for about an hour. So, as I mentioned, I went to I had gotten into the F-150. I was at the gas station about to put money in the tank. And now, through the modern miracle of editing, I'm going to pick up where I had actually was at the pickup location and bring you back to this point. And by the way, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. And if you don't like the content that I provided in this segment or in any other segment, you can always unsubscribe, or you can give it a thumbs down. So we've picked up these 5 pallets, real light shit. Actually, it could have been, we could have gone over to the dock that's over to my left, although I'm not dock high, and could have just slid them into the box truck. But this is probably the safest way of making sure that stuff is loaded on. This opportunity came about by chance, I guess you'd say. I actually had plans doing something else. In fact, I was at the gas station about to put money into the F-150 when I happened to check my emails, and this broker, whom I've done a lot of business for since November 2023, asked if they had a TSA driver available for a run. And I said, yeah, and I emailed in response with my credentials, my TWIC, and my TSA 9 certification, and we got to talking. The problem is that they didn't have it. There was some confusion as to how and where I was going to go. Either it's going to be to Atlanta or to Charlotte, and so and to pick up here in Duncan, South Carolina. It's near Greenville area. I've been here multiple occasions. In fact, I'm stopping now at the guard shack because they check your vehicle before you leave. That's just their protocol. So we'll resume this conversation very quickly. So now, folk don't like the fact that I don't share a lot of information, and I am unabashed about it. I am not ashamed to say that I don't like sharing a lot of intricate information these days, because the very information that I can share with y'all could be the very thing that be used against me. And some people call that gatekeeping. Some people call that being selfish. No, that's just watching out for your own self. Now, I will say this much, that 2 brokered opportunities will have produced for me $700. And ironically, both brokered opportunities, both lower board based opportunities, were in the 80, 85 mile range, and both of them were paying $350 each. So that explains why I mentioned earlier in this segment how some folk could be crowing about doing something with 175 miles or 200 miles, and I'm on a great pay, and you put the numbers up against each other. So they say 200 miles, $350, or 400 miles, 500 miles for $700, or 170, maybe 170 miles tops, loaded miles, and we're talking in terms of loaded miles, by the way, for $700. Okay? So, I've mentioned in recent Get Geezer segments how things have been kind of a challenge for me this week. I mentioned in this segment of the Get Geezer how I was two runs shy of making geezer type money. So this segment of the Get Geezer is kind of an addendum, an update to it. And so basically I am now one run shy of making geezer type money for this week that ends Sunday, August 3rd, 2025. For the month of July, I can't help myself for the month of July. I'm still 2 runs shy of reaching geezer type monies for the month of July. But certainly a day like this puts me back on pace to what I've become accustomed to working at or earning in terms of geezer production, geezer revenue for my delivery and transport operations. So that's a good thing for me. So what I'm going to do now, I mentioned about the paperwork earlier. This stack of paperwork, this is a nice little stack of paperwork. Yeah. I think the broker went overkill. There was some redundancy in some of the paperwork that was given. But what I'm going to do is take that stack and kind of decipher through it once I'm in Charlotte at the drop-off location. The main stuff, the airway bill document, all that is there. The labels that need to be go on the pallets that are in the box back here, they're available. They're present. There's 5 labels that I've got to put on. I've got packing tape here, and I also got my little juke tool. That's an old school term, juke knife, juke tool. Ask your uncle, ask your aunt, maybe your grandfather about what a juke tool is. So there's that. So what I'll do is affix those on there for the shipper, which would be the airline, so that it'll go on their plane. Now I'm supposed to be there by 9 o'clock. I'll be there by 6:30 today, and that's a good thing. And then from there, I will be able to go back to geezer life and I guess resume what should have been my day, the rest of my day, or the start of my weekend, because basically I've not done anything on Sundays in 2025. That's the other thing. I want to say that the options that I've created for myself has given me some type of consistency in terms of days that I normally work. Basically, it's Monday through Saturday, parts of Monday through Saturday. It may not mean straight through Monday through Saturday, but typically earning days potentially of Mondays through Saturdays, typically as late, and what I mean by Saturdays is typically early Saturday morning. So whatever load board based opportunities that I'm able to do, it's being done while most people are asleep. And by the time they wake up on Saturday morning to look at the cartoons or eat their Captain Crunches or Wheaties or Frosted Flakes or Tony Frosted Flakes, I'm back at the geezer compound going over my numbers and probably going to sleep. So we're going to resume the conversation in Charlotte. And again, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I never welcome comments in the section below. All right, so we are now in the Charlotte area, and I am approaching an exit that I'm actually coming in from Gastonia, which is a different direction than I normally come in when I am doing airport runs to Charlotte. But I will be getting there momentarily, where it's not actually the airport that I'm going to, but it's a business park where the cargo place that will be receiving these pallets, that's where I'll be going. It's a cargo place. It's an air cargo warehouse in which they receive the freight to then transport over to the airline. Needless to say, I've been text messaged multiple times. I've been emailed multiple times. But and I'm kind of describing this again, somewhat repeating myself though, but at least with this particular broker, there is this disconnect of communication. Somehow, not everybody's on the same page. And so I'm liable to get communication from multiple people during the time I have their freight. Like as I approached the pickup location, the salesperson, I guess the broker who like put this together, he called me, and then I called him back. And as I mentioned, what I ended up doing was text messaging him and sending him pictures of everything. So he was already apprised of what was going on. He's probably the main person that needs to be apprised of what's going on. But then there's the dispatch teams, and so there's different people who are doing that. In fact, what you may, some of you who do brokered opportunities, you may notice, like it says, to reply all. So that means anyone and everybody who's on that email chain is going to get that information, but that doesn't mean everybody's still going to be on the same page. And so just a few minutes ago, someone text messaged saying, well, I won't call you, but let us know when you get to the delivery location. So what's going to end up happening is that I'm going to have to text message that person, text message the other guy who am I talking about, because he was in Texas, and then text message those two people, but then email everyone in the email chain. Hopefully everybody will be on the same page, knowing that their freight has been delivered. Yes, that's the way it is sometimes when you do brokered opportunities. But yes, this is a Saturday grind. For me, it started about 6 hours ago. And within about 6 hours, 6.5 hours, it will be done. And then I will be able to get on with my weekend. As a side note, this is not the first time I've actually shown footage on this particular road as I'm going to Charlotte Airport. In fact, there was one in which I came through here at the early hours of the morning before dawn on this particular road, and so there was probably footage of lights, reflection of lights coming from the headlights coming from the opposite direction. But yeah, this is probably one of two ways that I usually come into the airport area. Off to the left is actual Charlotte Airport. In fact, you see the control tower right there. That's and then you see off to the left some of the airlines. American Airlines, this is their hub. American Airlines / US Air, what used to be US Air. So Charlotte is one of their main hubs, just as DFW is. But anyway, I'm closing in on the delivery location, and it's a sigh of relief, because then I'm able to submit my rate confirmation, show documentation of pickup and delivery, and be paid more than likely Tuesday from the factoring company. Okay, so we're now leaving the drop-off location. I do have some still shots of the drop-off location of the actual delivery where the forklift guy came by, and even a small clip, and you're seeing those right now. The only thing is that when you're in these type of environments, you're not allowed to actually film inside. You can film outside and maybe right at the door area, but you can't film inside. Those are just security reasons. So therefore, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to document those things, but you have to document them for the broker and for yourself, actually, if you want to be paid with your factoring company. But so that's all in the books now. $350 earned. I mentioned it earlier. 80-mile drive. I left the Columbia area. What time? Like 2 o'clock. And I'm leaving Charlotte about just before 7, so less than 5 hours. But then now I can start my weekend. So that's all I have to share for this segment of the Get Geezer. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. If you don't like the content, you can always unsubscribe, and you can always give it a thumbs down. But be it as it may your grind, may your hustle, may your business continue, and I'm in Wood Lane.